I'm Brian Foster, and this is the Grindhouse Institute. On each episode of this podcast, Jeremy Floyd and I program a triple feature movie night. Each of the movies share common themes, and we discuss them here. We're happy you could join us for today's block we call Always Bet on Black. An actor, producer, author, and expert martial artist, Wesley Trent Snipes was born on July 31st, 1962. Snipes lived with his parents in the Bronx, New York, where he studied acting, music, and dance at the High School of the Performing Arts. After receiving a BA from the State University of New York at Purchase, Snipes made his cinematic debut in 1986's Wildcats. But it wasn't until 1990 that Snipes gained true recognition. Roles in films such as Mo Better Blues, New Jack City, and Jungle Fever garnered Snipes critical acclaim. Soon after, Wesley Snipes would become a household name as a fast-quipping, ass-kicking action hero. Ex-cop turned airline security consultant John Cutter is booked on the same flight as the criminal mastermind Charles Rain. When Rain and his insanely loyal gang hijack the plane, there's only one passenger who can stop them. Wesley Snipes battles Bruce Payne in 1992's Passenger 57. 36 years ago, Uber criminal Simon Phoenix and super cop John Spartan were both sentenced to prison terms in cryostasis. But when Phoenix escapes, the local police thaw out Spartan. They need a caveman to catch a madman. It's Stallone versus Snipes in 1993's Demolition Man. U.S. Marshal Sam Gerard is at it again, this time chasing down a brand new fugitive, a secret agent, Mark Sheridan. Tommy Lee Jones and Robert Downey Jr. pursue Wesley Snipes in the 1998 film U.S. Marshals. Thank you for listening to the Grindhouse Institute. Please enjoy.
Charlie, you ever play roulette?
On occasion.
Well, let me give you a word of advice.
Always bet on black.
All right, welcome back to the Grindhouse Institute. I'm Brian Foster, and with me, as always, is Jeremy Floyd. Hello, and how are you?
I'm doing well. I don't know how to spell it. I think it's D-E-L Vecchio, something like that.
Sly Del Vecchio. D-E-L Vecchio. We have another special episode today, a 3-film block that is presented by a mutual friend of ours and guest programmer, Carter Brown. How you doing?
All right. Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Hell yeah.
You're welcome.
Jeremy, did you want to do an intro or anything to boost up our guest up to the pedestal of guest worthiness?
Ooh.
Guest worthiness. Yeah. So, Carter, as a movie aficionado and actor himself, has, at least I've known for years that Wesley Snipes holds a special place in his heart, and I wasn't surprised to see the movies that he put together all feature Wesley Snipes in his prime.
Carter, would you mind introing the movies that you chose today? Because it's a really great block.
Yeah, so the movies that I selected were Passenger 57, Demolition Man, and U.S. Marshals. And these three in particular was was probably the first time I was introduced to the great Wesley Snipes. I'm thankful to have
Major League.
No, not yet. At least
Willie Mays Hayes.
I was gonna say Willie Mays Hayes was my first Wesley Snipes.
That was later on down the line. It was like that, and and White Men Can't Jump, because I was obviously I was young at the time, but I have an older brother, and my mom and my parents, they were like Wesley Snipes fans through thick and thin. It's like they never called the movies like Passenger 57. They was like, "You going to see that Wesley Snipes movie?" I'm like, "Yeah,
yeah."
We're going to see that. So they would sneak me in, and that's how I found out about Wesley Snipes and everything. And after that, as I got older, I started to backtrack and be like, "Yo, we need to put some respect on my man Wesley Snipes' name." Okay.
Around this time, I think if you were going to the movies, you were going to see a Wesley Snipes film. There were quite a few
he was
of them.
doing like 2 a year, 2.5 a year.
He was doing okay around this
average.
time. Yeah.
Nice.
Throughout the 90s. Yeah.
So Passenger 57 came out in 1992. I can't believe it was so long ago that this movie came out. And features some of the best slapping to bass music score and credit sequence music I've ever heard. Man, it was almost like a Hong Kong action movie, with that smooth jazz. This was fun. I hadn't seen this since it originally came out, so I was probably 10 or 11 years old. I looked at it from quite a different viewpoint today, but this was a hell of a fun early 90s action movie.
definitely.
Yeah, and it was like it was Die Hard on a plane.
Yeah.
You know, I had seen it too, like, you know, HBO. I think it played like, you know, twice a day for like, you know,
Ever.
30 years on HBO. It was like, you know, so I'd catch it, you know, in the middle and, you know, catch it here and there. But yeah, I hadn't seen it in a long time, and I was like, oh, okay, Die Hard on a plane. Okay, well that was obviously the pitch.
Totally.
When they did it. But,
Yeah, the villain was trying to be as cool as the villain in Die Hard, but just didn't quite reach that
and all
level.
All the bad guys were like European, so it was like, you should have known.
And then on top of that, like all of them like knew how to fight for some reason.
Yeah.
Whenever they fought Wesley Snipes, I was like, hold on, they're not supposed to be going toe to toe with him. Like
This guy, 8th degree black belt,
Yeah.
and like that they're all keeping up.
Now you bring up 8th degree black belt. That's for real, right? Like in real life, Wesley Snipes is like a pure martial artist, right? Yeah. And I mean, you can tell in these movies like that he seems so rigid in those fights. Like he's really could
Right.
beat somebody's ass if he wanted to.
I think he also did most of those stunts himself sometimes, I think, as well.
Well, not demo. Oh, yeah, I agree because you can see him and Sylvester Stallone's stunt double in every single fight that they're together in.
Yeah.
You'll
Right.
like clearly as day see Wesley Snipes in there, but it is not Sylvester Stallone in half those wide shots.
Maybe he wasn't tall enough.
Yeah.
Sly, that is.
Gotta give him the Tom Cruise shot. Gotta shoot from the
Yeah.
bottom. So apparently he's been training since he was 12, and he's a 5th degree black belt in Shokotan karate, and then 2nd degree in Hapkido. He also studied Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, capoeira, and kung fu.
Jesus,
Wow.
a real mixed martial artist.
Yeah, but before it was cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
He's got ground game too.
My man Wesley Snipes, y'all.
Yeah, this movie opens up quite with a shocker. Basically, it's kind of like the whole movie of Face Off at the beginning when this Charles Rain is getting his face changed yet again. And
I know, I was
he is
thinking about that.
he is
I
stopped
forgot to
in
write that down,
mid plastic surgery in order to catch this version of Charles Rain.
Doctor,
The
what time is it?
Like just deadpan face, no Novocaine.
There will be no pain.
Yeah,
All right. I didn't remember that part. I was like,
there will be no pain. Yeah, that's right.
plastic surgery in like uptown, like Burbank, man. Like clearly that's where we're at. Like the 4th floor Burbank. Had to get his parking validated before he got in there.
Yeah, parking is not free there. That's for sure.
He immediately pulls a Ted Bundy out the window to get out of that place, and this guy can get away from any sort of situation he seems to be in. Like he can just jump from a 30th floor window and just make it out.
Except for
fine.
the Arrowhead truck. Apparently, he can't get away from that one.
That water, man, just, he slipped him up, man. That's what happened. But like he landed on that like cafe, like half of the cafe tent.
that broke his fall. Yeah.
Yeah, it just rolled out.
Like 14 floors up. Okay. Far out. Yeah, so maybe that's the thing. Maybe in the end of the movie he doesn't die because he can't die from falling from great heights.
There we go.
And clearly, getting kicked in the nuts also doesn't hurt him because there will be no pain when Wesley Snipes hits him 57 times in the nuts.
Passenger 57, is that why they called it that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when they have like the struggle between each other, like he just still deadpan face, like he's not breaking a sweat, not even doing like a
there you
grunt
go.
or a
Yeah.
struggle.
That's
No.
some Go-Go 13 shit.
Yeah, exactly. He had about as much personality as Golgo 13.
Like even T1000 was flinching at one point. Like, I don't understand. Like who is this man?
Well, this one's about John Cutter, who's he's a security officer. That's I guess a private security.
Not John McClane, John Cutter.
John Cutter, totally different than John McClane. Not even
Totally
close.
different. It's not the same at all.
He's a security officer that works privately on airlines specifically.
He's an off-duty cop. It's nothing to do with Die Hard. Okay?
No, this is. I just want to make sure that we are like totally clear that this has nothing to do with the same story at all.
Nothing.
I thought this was hilarious with a lot of cool 90s references, specifically the old lady on the plane that thought he was Arsenio.
Oh my god.
Just like, woo, woo.
I totally forgot all about that.
That was hilarious. And then
Also,
by
she was the same lady from Airplane who's like, so stewardess, I speak jive.
Oh my. That's right.
is that the same woman?
No, but I mean, just in the same role.
Same character. Yeah, exactly. Shit.
Just hang loose, blood. She's gonna catch up on the rebound on the med side.
I guess if you're a villain in this movie, you have literally the best hair ever from the 90s that has kind of moved its way from the 80s, specifically the mullet. And everyone was really rocking the mullet in this one. Like,
looking good though.
It was a little like Silence of the Lambs. It was like it was as if Ted Levine was trying to play Hannibal Lecter.
You mean with the villain, with Charles Rain? Yeah, absolutely.
Charles Rain is not insane.
Say it again.
Charles Rain is not insane.
It was an action movie, like it was an action Pantene Pro V commercial. Is what was going on. Man.
Yeah, beautiful flowing, voluminous
Actually,
hair.
that's true. Everyone had pretty on point hair. I mean, the Elizabeth Hurley hair. The other flight attendant, I don't remember her name, but
one of the thugs that Charles Rain ended up taking out, and he's like, I hate people that can't do the work or something like that. But he had the worst perm I've ever seen, or the best, depending on how you look at it, I guess.
Depending on what you think of perms,
right?
I loathe incompetence.
The guy with the ponytail, who also doesn't look anything like one of the Die Hard villains with the ponytail. This is a different movie, guys. Different.
My favorite of the villains, though, was that guy Vince, the one that had like the straight down eyebrows that kind of went like this. He was like working on the luggage for the plane down in the galley. Right when he starts that knife fight.
That 70s show.
He looked like Red. The guy from RoboCop. He that was the best though. When he got into that knife fight in the galley, they started the conga drums like a score, which was totally different than any other score in the movie, but it was a nice like knife fight one. Oh man, so great. And then of course Wesley Snipes has some of the best lines ever when he's like,
just about to say it. Yeah.
I knew motherfuckers who saw Elvis in a mall. It was awesome.
The line that I think takes the cake for me was like when he was talking to that Louisiana sheriff. He was like, well, what would you do if you were me? Kill
myself.
I like that was a good one. Like, damn.
Oh my god, I lost it.
I hope a lot of those were just like improv. Like Wesley, what would you say in this? Like,
but I thought this one was great with Tom Sizemore. I thought he's always good in movies like this. He was just very funny as kind of a sidekick, but didn't really take part in any of the action. So Wesley Snipes was more of a loner in this one.
He was doing the role that would later be played by Gary Sinise in all these movies in the later 90s. It's like sort of sidekicky, guy at home base or whatever.
Right.
I need to get my man out of there. That kind of he's on the call sheet for a week, and
there's like those one-liners, just like, you stay here. And he's like, not a problem. I do this. He's like flexing stuff. It's like very on the nose references and stuff.
Oh, exactly.
But I think Charles Rain, although, with the hair and everything, he was actually a pretty successful villain. He was a creepy as hell person, in particular, telling this woman that, he's like basically telling her that he wanted to have sex with her. She's like, well, you'd have to kill me first. And he's like, I'd kill you during.
Yeah.
What the
Not getting away with that today.
No, not at all.
Not getting away with that today. Yeah. Like TBS would like blank that out. He's like, oh well, I'll just they make like some kind of like cover up over it. So like instead of saying like bullshit, it's like, oh, this is some bull chips or something.
Bull chips.
Mother jumper. God.
Yeah, that's true. I think I've only seen this one on HBO, but on regular cable.
TBS at this round clock, like just as much as like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air almost.
Oh, really?
That sounds like a really good block, actually, to watch the TV edits of movies that we love that definitely shouldn't be on television.
Find a Stranger in the Alps, like the Big Lebowski when he's like smashing up the car. And he's like, instead of when you fuck, this is what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass. He's like, this is what happens when you find a stranger in the Alps. Like that was like the made-for-TV dubs.
See what happens when you find a stranger in the Alps?
I love how in this, Tom Sizemore's name was Sly, and which, like, of course, would be paralleled in the next movie with, like, his not sidekick, but rather nemesis, being played by Sly.
An actual nemesis, right? The old cop brought out of cryo fridge to fight the old criminal, right? Like, I called this movie Gremlins meets Minority Report.
Demolition Man?
What's that? Demolition Man.
Demolition
Yeah.
Man.
That is very
Let me explain the Gremlins side of it, because I'm sure the Minority Report makes sense, right? Everyone's in this cryo prison, they're frozen, they're still having dreams, and it's kind of torturous.
Yeah.
And then in this very fascist type corporate world. Now, the Gremlin side of it is Simon Phoenix is our first Gremlin that we let out. And then because of what his plan is he wants to let out a bunch of other Gremlins. And these other Gremlins are much stronger than him and don't have the type of limitations that he has, so he can have them kill Raymond Cocteau and take over the world, basically. That's my Gremlins reference. Take it or leave it.
I'm taking it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll take it. That's very spot on. I like
Yeah.
that.
When I was watching it, I was, Demolition Man 2, it's like, man, I hadn't seen that in such a long time. I remembered very little. I mean, basically, like, the virtual reality sex scene, which is, he was like, I like the old-fashioned way or whatever. Like,
Did I touch it?
The hunka chunka? The horizontal mumble?
but it's funny, like, structure-wise, it feels like, future movie, The Dark Knight. It's exactly that, where it's like, a very unappealing main character, or the hero, which is the name of the movie. And then the person that you love and you're following and you're excited about when he's on screen is the Joker, like the
Simon Phoenix?
Wesley Snipes character, the Phoenix character.
He was awesome in this.
He's the agent of chaos in this world that sucks.
Yes.
From every angle. Whether you are, rich and buying into the PC police or whatever it was, or are like scrounging for food as the libertarian
Edgar Friendly
underground dwellers. Either way you slice it, it's terrible. And like this guy was there to just like screw it up and change it. The agent of change, this guy.
Isn't there a thought repeating in that barbaric brain of yours? The name Friendly, Mr. Edgar Friendly.
I have to say that these three movies, if anything, if the only connection that we find with these movies is that it's Wesley Snipes has been in all of them, I think another like step is to see that what his range really was as an actor. Passenger 57, he was kind of like a out of the box action hero, right? Mm-hmm. In Demolition Man,
John McClane type. If
John McClane, yeah. If you want to compare, maybe John McClane from Die Hard. In Demolition Man, the Simon Phoenix character I thought was an incredible villain. I thought he definitely stole the movie by far. I mean, he was far above everyone else that was in that movie in terms of acting. And then in U.S. Marshals, he had a totally.
You didn't call him a hero. That's weird.
I think he was. I think he at least might not have had the right.
The ending was a tragedy. When they kicked his head off, I was like, come on.
That was awesome.
No sequel.
that was like some Achilles heel type stuff. He was like unstoppable, and out of nowhere, like he just got frozen. It's like he saw it coming too. Like, come on, man. Like, he was doing like the whole comic book villain monologue and stuff.
Yeah, he's monologuing again. Yeah.
Cryo prisoner reanimation sequence now entering final stage.
Is it cold in here, or is it just me? Good memory.
This movie takes place in 1996 Los Angeles, when LA is completely on fire, as well as the Hollywood sign.
Except for there's like two Hollywood premieres going on in the background. I don't know if you noticed all the
No, I didn't.
or maybe it was a car dealership having a sale. Who knows? But like, yeah, the entire city's on fire, and they're still doing red carpet premieres.
Yeah,
that's LA.
Helicopter flying in. It's like, why are we even here?
That's true.
Like,
That actually that has happened. What am I talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
Remember when they used to let commercial airlines land in this town?
Yeah. Well, I don't understand where we're going, or why the hell we're bothered anyhow.
You're doing a good deed.
We meet who the Demolition Man is, and then we also meet Simon Phoenix. Simon Phoenix is clearly a psychopath that the Demolition Man has, targeted as his nemesis.
Actually, real quick, but before we even got to that part where they meet each other in the warehouse. They're flying in on a helicopter, and the helicopter pilot was the same guy who was one of the FBI agents in Die Hard. It was like,
yeah,
I'm Agent Johnson, and this is Special Agent Johnson. No relation. And he's like, it's just like being a nom. I was 12, dickhead.
Same guy, right? The guy that was actually flying the helicopter, right?
The
pilot, yeah.
Exactly.
After we get this opening fight with Simon and what was the Demolition Man's name? Why am I blanking on this?
John Spartan was his name.
Let me write that down so I don't forget.
Like
John Spartan.
It was just like, it's like so like, I feel like it's so cliche. John Spartan versus Simon Phoenix.
No way.
Right. I'm not gonna lie. Like when the opening came up with the title names, I was just like, I had even gotten my like trailer was just like Stallone, but then like Wesley Snipes came, and I was like, Wesley, motherfucking Snipes. I was like so loud because I was just so happy about it.
I'm telling you, like he was like the thing that people liked out of the movie. I mean, you know, it's funny. Like Sly didn't have the great lines and whatever. Wesley Snipes had all those lines, and it's like just like in Dark Knight from 2008. Batman is not the character the audience is excited to see. Like the Joker is. I mean, it was like for me, like that is definitely like like the really strongest parallel there. But it's like you definitely wanted to see what Snipes was going to be up to, and how he was going to hack into this and break that, and like all the ways that people were going to try to take him down, and he was able to just dance around them, no problem.
Dance,
like,
literally. Olé! Yeah. I like when they showed him like using the computer, and he was just kind of like moving his fingers really fast across these buttons, like he was
hacking into the mainframe, man.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Ooh, I'm possessed. I don't even know what I'm doing. The credit sequence I want to talk about real fast in Demolition Man it is all naked Stallone frozen in a block of ice with credits rolling over it, and it is slow. It is dramatic. It is very romantic. And this is probably the first time that we get so close to seeing a frozen Stallone penis in a movie. I would say that this is probably the first time. So I guess that this movie really, pushed forth boundaries.
Was there another frozen Stallone penis in a movie?
No, but there is an Austin Powers frozen Stallone, and that's kind of...
Oh, man, we forgot to talk about Elizabeth Hurley in Passenger 57, by the way. It's like,
oh, there's another Austin Powers reference.
I was like, holy shit! Like,
what was she, 20 in
that? Her
that?
voice was like very similar, but like, man, she looked like kind of like Elizabeth Hurley crossed with Alicia Silverstone or something. It's like the best of the 90s.
Always trust your first impression. I have a feeling this is going to be a very interesting flight. I certainly hope so.
I like the at about 11:43 we finally finish the naked frozen penis credit sequence, and we end up in Utopia, Los Angeles, or as they call it, San Angeles, which is basically all of Southern California melded into one giant district, I guess.
Yeah, the city wasn't big enough before, so it makes sense.
How sprawling must San Angeles be? Yeah. And then we meet Lenina Huxley. Now, this is Sandra Bullock's, I guess, first movie?
Or first big one.
Oh, okay. This is a great reaction here. Go on.
Let me tell you about Sandra Bullock. Oh, so this one definitely like solidified my crush on her before, I think, like Speed. This is either before Demolition Man is either before Speed or after. I'm not sure. It's I always get those mixed up, but this was definitely one of those like, I think those roles that like solidified her to like get more of those action movies, in my opinion. But my only issue, like I mentioned to Jeremy before, with Sandra Bullock in there, was that like her eyebrows, man, like it was just I felt like they were like drawn on there. Like why did they do that? Like they knew better. Like it's like, I don't know, tracing over Picasso or something. But like that was my only riff with Sandra Bullock. Everything else was just like chef's kiss. She was great. Let's go blow these guys. It's like, away.
Yeah.
Away, these guys, away.
Chief, you could take this job and you can shovel it.
Shove it.
There were so many good ones like that.
Not bad for a 74-year-old. Simon Phoenix knows he has some competition. He's finally matched his meat. You really licked his ass.
Yeah, I think she was kind of the audience's connection back to the 90s at the time. Her whole office was covered in Red Hot Chili Peppers posters and different things from the 80s and 90s. And the thing that cracks me up about this movie is like that whole fascist, peaceful utopia that they're living in. The only music they listen to are those old commercials, like Armour Hot Dogs.
I know.
I love Benjamin Bratt gets nervous and starts singing like different commercials as he's like walking around.
Like the Oscar Mayer Wiener song or whatever it was, And, like, the only restaurant to survive the franchise wars was Taco Bell.
I would like you to accompany me to Taco Bell.
It's funny because it's like, although we're laughing at that, but like, it feels like that's where things are headed anyway, where it's just like, hyper consolidation into, one, giant, mono corporation. It's like
you're just gonna be able to get one burger that has tacos, pizza, fried chicken, everything all in one.
They already have that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yum Foods, like
it's a thing.
KFC, Taco Bell, Pizza Hut drive-through.
Hey, there's a down close to like Lamert Park or something, or like on the way to like Long Beach. There's a KFC Long John Silver's. Like, don't sleep on it.
I used to love Long John Silver's, man. Hush Puppies. That's the way to go.
They're good, still good. But I thought it was crazy how that scene in Demolition Man was like they said they were gonna give them Taco Bell, but then the signs at Pizza Hut, and then you showed up and it's just like these like little like you ever see those like gummy bear like sandwiches like in the store. That's what it basically was. And I was like good and well John Spartan's not gonna get full on that. Like he's going to eat that.
He even said something about these. A good thing I'm hungry. And that's where we actually meet Edgar Friendly, Dennis Leary's character. That's when he makes the play on Raymond Cocteau, is the coming up from the underground to go get the food from Taco Bell, and it was just a bunch of starving people just trying to live their life. And we find out that he is the actual target that Simon Phoenix is thawed out for, if you will.
Now, don't you have a job to do? Huh? The name Friendly, Mr. Edgar Friendly. Don't you have someone to kill?
I loved the Otho character.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
I don't know what his name was, or I don't remember what his name was. But
Bob.
Yeah. Otho in a kimono was this guy.
I think somebody tells him to take off the kimono. I think it's Dennis Leary. He's like, take off the kimono. You look like a couch.
He's like, what about that hair? Like he's something.
Yeah.
Bob, let's talk about the hair, okay?
Hair?
Pick a color, all right?
Also, I don't remember the actor's name. Bill Cobbs. He was like the only guy left from the 20th or whatever, still in the police force, who was the clock maker or whatever he was in Hudsucker, or like the grandpa from People Under the Stairs.
Yeah,
they basically pigeonholed that man. He's still stuck in middle management at that police station. Like
he's like, they grounded me.
Yeah.
So by this time, there's literally no crime, right? That's what they're saying. That's why these tiny crimes that would happen throughout the city are like these big deals. They were talking about some graffiti from Edgar Friendly, and that was like the biggest deal ever. And then there was a murder death kill. They didn't even know what a 187 was.
No.
A murder death kill.
A murder death kill.
When I came on, I automatically thought about like that Snoop Dogg song, and it said 187. Like, but yeah, like this whole like utopia was just like it's like no litter, no graffiti, not even swear words, not even physical contact or like contact sports in general.
No salt, no fun, no booze.
Yeah, no meat.
Rat burgers down. If you go underground, you can get a rat burger.
You can get a Peruvian traditional rat burger down there.
When John Spartan was like. When Stallone's character bit into that sandwich, he's like, "It's a rat burger." He's like, "Not bad." And I was like, "Yeah, I'd have thought the same too." Like, don't let me know what it's made from. As long as it tastes like a hamburger, we can do this.
Yeah. Now let's blow this guy.
What seems to be your boggle?
My boggle?
I loved that they had to pass the 61st Amendment to allow for President Schwarzenegger.
I know. Like,
who also had the Schwarzenegger library, and like it really pissed off Stallone when he found that out. That guy was a president?
Like, what?
This is a world in which Schwarzenegger is the star, but Stallone's not.
I think that was a low-key subtext, like joke as well.
I'm sure.
That's why
Most definitely.
It's just funny that like that's the case.
When we go underground and meet more of the Edgar Friendly character, and I mean this.
When we get to the Foot Clan lair.
When we get to the Foot Clan,
someone asks for if you want regular or menthol.
Yeah.
When you first get in.
Yeah. That's when we get the Dennis Leary stand-up out of nowhere. No one asked for the Dennis Leary stand-up, but it's like, I want to eat a bucket of gravy fries, and I want to get high cholesterol, and blah, blah, blah. And it was...
Rub myself in Jello and have a boner in the middle of the street. It's like, okay, Dennis Leary, calm down, buddy.
That's living life, though. Yeah. It's like, don't threaten me with a good time now. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds like a blast.
We can't forget also like the initial star of Demolition Man, like when Stallone jumps out and just like he held it, like you know when like the bungee jump like comes down, he was like you would have thought he'd like feed it, like he had a little jerk on it or something, but nah, he landed smooth with his little PP5 like little gun, just like.
Well, one thing though is like that. Okay, so he's yoked up and all that, and he when he was in his frozen cryo bath, get to see his sculpted glory. But the man does not know how to do cardio. His running stance was a little stiff.
I mean, he was frozen. Like he's not stretching. Like
yeah,
his
exactly.
muscles got atrophy.
I'm talking about the 1996 portion.
Oh, before he was frozen.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He's like running away from the explosions.
Is it cold in here?
That's because he usually just have to run after people. He was just shooting. It's like I'm too lazy to run. Like, yeah. But if you got close quarters with him, he would wrestle you. He'd body slam you on a hood of a car or something.
Right.
Since we just talked about Minority Report, I wanted to talk about some of the futurism that they pretty much nailed in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically the cars. First of all, I really love the car full of styrofoam filling up. I turned into a cannoli. I thought that was great. Right. But the one that was great was the vertical TV that they had in his room, which was basically a big iPhone or an iPad in his room.
The thing that I'm sure is right around the corner is that Total Recall vertical monitor, and which they also did here in Demolition Man. I mean, you really felt a lot of the Total Recall actually. More so. I mean, I know what you mean by Minority Report, but also like, I mean, in this one, it feels like there's a lot of like, Total Recall was a lot of fun in terms of like having fun with like the future. Let's do that again.
Lights.
I love when Stallone finds out what his rehabilitation was. He learned how to knit. He learned how to be a. He's like, am I a seamstress? He's like, oh, this shirt's ripped. Don't worry, I'll sew it. Did I just say that? Jesus.
Right. This society is like extremely fash, but they somehow still really believe in rehabilitation to the point where they have to give him a trade.
This man makes cold press coffee in his spare time and stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this guy makes beer. Well, that's worthless.
And illegal. You're not allowed to do that.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. But I guess at the end of the movie, there's like kind of a resolution, and Stallone's like, "Oh, you guys,
a power vacuum. Why don't you guys figure it out?" Was the solution?
So yeah, meet somewhere in the middle, and it's like,
yeah.
Oh, you mean so we go back to where we was in '97?
Cut to 5 years later, and it's the burning L.A. city again. Phoenix.
See, everything's solved.
Yeah.
One other quick thing I wanted to say was they were clearly getting ready to sort of take on this that 90s wave of those the action movie that would be sort of like coming in with that heroic bloodshed look, where it's like, you know, everyone was like, you know, carrying two guns, kind of diving sideways, you know, blasting while they're in the air in slow motion.
Guns akimbo is what it is.
Akimbo. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Yeah. This is like right after sort of The Killer and Hard Boiled, but the same year as like Hard Target, when Ringo Lam and John Woo started coming over to make movies here with Van Damme.
Hard Target, man.
He made, like, John Woo knew, like, Van Damme had a mean roundhouse. So that replay was, you knew, like, that guy was dead. Whoever he kicked, that guy was dead.
I didn't think we'd make it through another show without bringing up Hard Target, but I guess we are able to do that. We can relate any movie to Hard Target. But yeah, I totally agree with you, especially the Like in Passenger 57, the flashbacks were like that black and white with that smooth jazz playing, and there was that felt like City on Fire to me quite a bit, especially the you know, and
they hit him with that soprano sax, man, that Kenny G flow almost, man.
No, exactly. Except for the opening titles, the soft jazz was a little more Kenny G. But it's funny, you're right. Like I forgot about that didn't really go anywhere. It was like I kept expecting the dead wife story to sort of pay off, and it kind of didn't. It
was just kind of something that
seemed
bothered
like something
him.
They had like a leftover draft, and they forgot to get rid of it in their next draft.
We shot it, cut it into the movie,
and then he moved on. He moved on to the flight stewardess. It's like, how do you talk about your wife just died? Now you like want to get out of here together and put a jacket.
He called her by his ex-wife's name, his dead wife's name. He's like, who's Amy? Oh, that's my wife. You just called me that in the galley. It's like, oh, okay, shit. You're not hung up or anything.
Well, it seemed like, okay, that was going to be something that was like, you know, they're going to be able to mess with him later on psychologically, or like, you know,
especially the smart villain.
Something was going to happen where it was like, oh yeah, like it was going to be the same scenario, and he's going to start having flashbacks, and oh no, like, but it kind of just was like, nope, never mind. Like that was just a cool thing to do in the beginning.
Yeah, they didn't even do like
we wanted to make him an action hero, but sad.
I don't even think they did like a cutaway to, you know, the original convenience store robber holding the gun to his wife's head when the stewardess had a gun. Like they could have just done that real quick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A
little PTSD. Oh God.
Yeah, exactly. And then they could have stopped him, or exactly. Yeah.
Like which would have like been his like, you know, kryptonite in a way. It's like, you know, because he's such a, you know, superhero in the movie, but like, you know, maybe that psychological torture could have done something that you know, would have given him a sort of a weakness.
His Achilles heel.
You know.
They could be like a sequel to Passenger 57. Because I don't know if you guys remember at the end with like Elizabeth Hurley, where like they had that long shot of her.
Yeah.
She's like driving off. She's like looking up. Like I'm like, she's about to break out and have some revenge or something.
Yeah.
This time it's gonna be like probably like a cruise ship or something, or like a
cruise control.
I mean,
I forgot
you take care of me,
control.
I'll take care of the boat.
Yeah,
it's funny. Like, unlike Who Said We Were Terrorists, like in this one, it's like in Passion 57, like these guys were just insanely loyal to Charles Bane, and you know, he's like, no, brother, one must be left in the plane wreckage.
Started to fire.
You must stay here with the plane, brother.
It rises.
Let's move on to U.S. Marshals.
Yeah, so this is the one that I was not looking forward to watching again. I remember watching it once. You know, I was a huge fan of The Fugitive.
Yeah.
In the early 90s.
Oh, yeah.
And what, like the U.S. Marshals, I remember, Carter, you were talking to me about it at one point. I was like, wait, what? Are we talking about the same film? Like, I remember hating that movie.
Yeah,
and you know, watching it again, like it definitely wasn't as good as The Fugitive or whatever, but it like
not terrible.
It like the banter and the quips were terrible, but the action was pretty awesome actually.
Yeah, the action's great.
Like Wesley was like, I thought personally was like really good, but like again,
I agree.
Like you mentioned before, like The Fugitive is like a tall order to make a sequence, especially with like Harrison Ford and stuff. Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee, like even in U.S. Marshals, it's like Tommy Lee Jones' character knows there's a fugitive on loose, but like he doesn't even hint like I've done this before. He's just like, nah, like he's like, well, I guess we'll do this. But like I guess one hint he had was like with that guy who was just like, let's make this it's a perimeter, this circular thing. And
yeah.
Now that should go in all directions now, just like a big perimeter. Circle deal.
As being a fan of The Fugitive as well, you could see a lot of the same beat points in this one, you know, with the big wreck, as opposed to a train, it was a plane.
And plane, yeah.
Yeah.
And don't they know not to mess with Wesley Snipes on a plane?
I know, exactly.
Didn't they learn?
I think that they had Wesley Snipes, you know, be kind of more of a deeper character, even than the John.
Are you talking about Dr. Richard Kimball?
Dr. Richard Kimball, yeah, exactly. But this fugitive like had his own set of skills. But U.S. Marshals kind of like played on the fact that Tommy Lee Jones's character was so cool in The Fugitive, and his group was very cool, and how they would manage things, and like all these like takedowns and stuff, wearing the disguises. But then they took it into the goofy level, like right at the beginning of the movie when they go to take down Ogre.
The Family Guy chicken.
He's in a chicken costume. And he's like with the little legs coming out. I'm like, I can't even take that seriously.
Tommy Lee Jones went from winning an Oscar playing this character in The Fugitive to wearing the Family Guy chicken costume. beating out Ray Fiennes for Schindler's List to win an Oscar for fucking The Fugitive.
Then they go into this house that they were like undercover, like watching over, and have a full on Royal Rumble
with Ogre.
With Ogre, yeah, yeah, from
full on Royal Rumble in the back. Like this whole time watching this, I was like, at least 3 people have been shot by now in the leg. Like, come on.
I know. And he just blows away that guy in front of the baby. It's like,
oh my God.
He's going for a shotgun underneath the crib. It's like, wait, what's going on?
That was luck. That was pure luck.
That was absolutely luck, yeah. And also, they showed these U.S. Marshals did not give a shit who they were talking. Like, they were in that old folks' home, busting down doors, pointing guns in old people's faces, and just, oh, sorry, is anyone in the room with you? No? All right, let me go to the next
Tommy
one.
Lee kicks in the door on that old man, like, in the bathroom. Like, that guy would have been...
Are you alone?
His heart would have been exploding. All valves
The
would
one
have
guy
gone off
that
at
was on
once.
oxygen. He had a whole oxygen tank on, and he kept, like, looking up at the ceiling, like, look up there.
United States Deputy Marshal, ma'am, are you alone?
Yes.
I wasn't too shocked when Robert Downey became the shithead in this one, mostly because it was kind of obvious from the get-go that he was an outsider.
From the jump, man.
Yeah, he didn't hide it very well. But I didn't like that he killed Newman, because I always liked Newman from the Fugitive and this one. But there was a plot hole. Newman was deafened in The Fugitive. If you guys remember, Tommy Lee fired the gun next to his head, and he lost his hearing. Yet he could hear the fight going on across the building to go find out where Robert Downey and Wesley Snipes, and he could like hear it like from the. And I'm like, wait a second, that's not the character.
Like holding it up. He had like a little earpiece. Is like, there it is over there.
Both movies, they delved into some of the commentary on the injustices of the U.S. healthcare system. In the first one, it was all about like the whole conspiracy was like this pharmaceutical company was like wanted to kill his wife because she had discovered that they were gonna like start poisoning people, and like they just wanted to cut corners and whatever else. And in this one, in the very beginning, it's like she's paying his Wesley Snipes healthcare bill. It's hard to understand because she's got kind of a thick accent, but it's like she's like, with the taxes Americans pay, healthcare should be free. It's like, you got my vote, honey, but you still owe $18.
She just.
And this was 1998 that this movie released?
98, yeah. Like, look, from whatever it was, like 1990 through something like 99, Wesley Snipes was in like 2 or 3 movies every single year.
God.
It's so wild. But like, what's interesting is like in this, in these 3 you picked, going from Passenger 57, which is, I don't know what his like, had to be his like, his Die Hard like breakout in terms of like being the only person who's the star of the movie, type of thing, through 98, which is maybe like kind of his prime. Like this is the same year as Blade, right? You see Wesley Snipes go from being sort of just like this like sort of straight quipping hero to sort of this anti-hero. He was ostensibly the villain in Demolition Man, but like I explained over and over again, it's like the only reason to watch the movie for me.
He was the star.
Yeah, definitely the star. And like then in U.S. Marshals also, he's ooh, is he shady? Is he a bad guy? It's like, and he is kind of like, he's kind of straddling that line.
That's why I think that these 3 movies actually did show a bit of range from him as an actor, even beyond just an action star. I think he played them all very well.
I think, I mean, for the action star, for sure, he nailed that. I mean, if you want to see Wesley Snipes in a really interesting role where it's like he's like flexing his acting chops, check out Dolomite Is My Name. Which came out a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I love that movie.
He was amazing in that.
Yeah.
Even though he's like kind of just a small role, but no.
Yeah. But even his like older stuff as well. We were talking earlier. It's like thanks for like Tu Wong Fu. Thanks for everything was another one.
Yeah.
The Fan, New Jack City was a good
Right.
one. He was in Mo Better Blues as well, which I gotta like go back and check that out.
Find out where he was in that.
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to be doing a sequel to this block, considering there are so many films.
Wesley Snipes, Electric Boogaloo.
There you go.
Before we met, I worked for the government. I was on a routine assignment when it was ambushed. Marie, I did not murder anyone.
It's funny. So in this movie, Wesley Snipes is in U.S. Marshals. He is just a spy or CIA agent or something, some sort of spy. But
kite,
they
actually.
They were, okay, but I mean, he was a freelance spy. I mean,
well, that was what they called the kite. The kite was if things went down, they would just snip the cord and he would fly away, and he would say
freelance spy.
Well,
There's a message board for it. Like, hey,
yeah.
we need a spy here. Can you help us out?
Yeah.
We need the best.
It's on Mandy.com.
we pay in spy experience bucks.
Oh my gosh!
It's funny that they had a couple references to the spy who came in from the cold. I mean, they did say that phrase to him at the end about like, oh, does it feel good to come out from the cold? But then also like when he's trying to get out of the cemetery, he's like on that wall and trying to like get his girlfriend's hand, and she keeps slipping and whatever, and like that is very, very much the end of the spy who came in from the cold, if you're familiar with that one.
We'll add it to the list.
Man, how much did, when they were like doing the little airboats through the swamp, how much did it remind you of Predator? I mean, mostly because he kind of was like pulling kind of a Bill Duke look. He's completely hairless. Yeah, exactly.
I don't care who you are in the real world. Give away our position again, I'll bleed you real quiet.
Real
Leave
quiet.
you
Up there in them trees.
Yeah.
Speaking, there was the Bill Duke look, which was the completely shaved down look, and then there was his Vincent Vega look that he pulled out with that.
God, yes.
So he was kind of a mixture between Jules Winfield and Vincent Vega all in one costume.
The Travolta hair from Pulp Fiction.
And it was funny because he was trying to have a serious conversation in the car, taking it off, like taking off
like flapping.
That shit cracked me up, man.
He's supposed to be like hiding out with that very like noticeable look.
We can see you, man.
There he is. There he is.
You mean the guy that looks like Travolta from Pulp Fiction? Yeah, that's him
There he
right
is.
there. He's literally right there.
Where's Waldo? I spotted him. There he is.
An American response to an invasion of Taiwan. Makes sense now? I swear to God, I don't know what you're talking about. Don't lie to me!
So tell me more about your Wesley Snipes addiction. How do you want
I
to
would say it's addiction, but it's just like I'm always like watching like movies with Wesley Snipes. Like the other day, I was watching I think it was called like 9 Lives the other day, where he's just like this guy who he gets like something happens to him where he gets triggered with PTSD, and then he keeps having flashbacks of like a time where he I think lost one of his partners in like some kind of like weird hostage situation during like some special ops training, special ops mission that went wrong. They were both like POWs, and then he finally escaped. So he's like reenacting this out in like to the real world, while his like girlfriend / another like police partner is like trying to get after him to like save him and stuff.
Interesting. This is his direct to Redbox phase.
Yeah, that happens.
It does happen.
Yeah, because like there was like that and like The Art of War, but like still there were still good like action hero movies with him.
I think Art of War was probably one of the last, or maybe I don't know, Blade 2 or something, but it was probably one of the last like, of that initial period of like him, becoming this insanely bankable star, to then the ignominy of the direct-to-video years.
Even later on with the ones with the action movies straight to like VHS or like Redbox, he started to get a little like Steven Seagal-esque. Like he did a lot less kicking now, and just like grabbing people and like flipping them over and stuff.
Well, I don't know if I'd go straight to Seagal, because like Seagal is now like only sits in a car and like has this like head to the side look, and he only does one thing, and always has the same lighting to hide how fat he is, and it's like Okay, I need to be lit from this angle and this angle, so you can't see how many chins I've got.
Seagal will still mess any of us up, though. Let's be honest. That guy's close quarters combat will mess you up.
Oh my goodness!
I think the last time I saw Wesley Snipes was in the series What We Do in the Shadows, and he reprised his role as Blade, which was really funny for a vampire show. Definitely
that's awesome.
tongue in cheek. But other than that, I haven't really seen him in much, except for Dolomite.
He's going to be in Coming to America 2 this year.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that movie.
America.
Even though that's one of the sequels that no one asked for, I'm into it because I love the first movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're what are you treading carefully on that one?
I am skeptical. I mean, it'll be a lot to sort of capture that lightning in a bottle type of thing.
Jeremy don't like the sequels, man. Jeremy doesn't like the sequels. It's like one and done.
It's guilty until proven innocent for me.
Yeah.
But in many ways, though, this would be the second sequel in a trilogy, right? Because Trading Places technically would be in the same universe. Coming to America would be the second one, and then this one would be the direct sequel to Coming to America. So,
right.
They made it successful twice.
Coming 3 America. Yeah.
Coming 3 America.
It didn't have the same ring.
Trading Places yet again.
There's also, we can't forget about Expendables 3, because that was like when Wesley Snipes was like fresh out the peeing, as they say.
Yeah.
From tax evasion. Came out, Sly gave him that work again, man, so he can get back on. So
all this cash that he was making in the 90s here, he just kind of held on to all that then.
Like how the billionaires do? Yeah.
Wesley Snipes, yeah, exactly. I was going to say, he played that game.
Yeah.
He did play that game.
I mean, wasn't it that like the accounting firm that was doing
his
the
accounting
shit,
firm,
like
right?
They were stealing from him, I think, and then he didn't know, and then I guess he came up short.
Like they got in trouble, and then all of a sudden, like it was like, oh, here's a famous guy who's also in there too. Sorry, dude.
Wow, that sucks.
But yeah, I mean, it seems like anyway that there's some sort of comeback a brewing, and that's the thing is like unlike maybe certain action stars of that era, maybe Seagal is one that we can name, where it's like all they can do is action. I mean, this guy's an actual actor, and can actually sort of pull off a role, even if maybe his hips don't have the same flexibility anymore to
as long
to
as his
roundhouse
hands do.
kicks and
as long as he can take away guns and do all that shit.
I think the only person who still has their hips are Van Damme, man. Like he's still doing the little dance and stuff. I love that dance, man.
The drunken kickboxer dance?
Yeah.
Ogre also in Kickboxer.
Yeah. No, that was in Kickboxer. That was
Bloodsport.
Bloodsport?
Yeah, Bloodsport.
Bloodsport. Same movie.
Exactly. I was going to say, sorry, I didn't even mean to correct you there. I did want to bring up the U.S. Marshals, the little pen gun that the assassin used.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was really cool. I'm not even sure. They didn't show it enough for my liking, but I guess it was just a regular ballpoint pen with a bullet in it. There wasn't like much mechanical going on, but it shot.
2 shots in it and in and out. And this man missed and ended up getting sucked out of the window.
And I like how Tommy Lee Jones was like playing with the slugs like later on, like Chinese massage balls.
Yeah. Wait, weren't those the slug?
Oh, you're right. Sorry. Those are the ones that they took out of his chest. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's the other thing is like the sort of structure of this one kind of didn't hold up the same way as The Fugitive, huh?
Yeah.
The thing that was incredible about the Dr. Richard Kimball is how resourceful he was for not being a secret agent.
Right.
Know?
Exactly.
Whereas like they're going up against Jason Bourne. I guess this is what the original Bourne movie is this one, U.S. Marshals.
Yeah, very much so. Or the jackal or something, like with all the disguises.
Right. Oh, but the thing that I always like cracked up about was like how he was able to dodge bullets in the cemetery.
Literally, like moving back and forth. They were like going around him. It was great.
Do not underestimate the serpentine pattern, man. That's how.
Yeah, the serpentine. Exactly. I was like, what's the word for it?
And that was a sniper on type with like this beautiful sniper scope on his gun. Like, there's no way that guy should have missed. Like,
he got zero marksmanship on his.
He's like a stormtrooper.
He's like a cultural attaché, but also can operate this like a weapon. I mean, he sucks at it, but like
he can fire it.
He had his eyes closed. I mean, he had his eyes closed, or he was like sneezing or something. He was just like
his allergies were kicking in that day. I mean, it's outdoors. What do you want?
Yeah, exactly. They just cut the grass.
Yeah, they just cut the grass.
Walk. Come on, move.
What happens now?
We dance.
Wesley Snipes was definitely one of those guys who were like, I want to be like him, like growing up as like an actor, especially like an actor, like as an action hero and stuff. Because like, obviously there was like Van Damme, Stallone, Seagal, like Dolph Lundgren, and all those guys. But it's all about that quote unquote representation. I was appreciative because like I mean, obviously there's like also like Mario Van Peebles and stuff, and like people you can go backtrack and like find out about. But like I think Wesley Snipes was literally the initial one I vividly remember being like, yeah, man, action movies, this is where it's at. And then like my parents were always, again, like I mentioned before in the beginning, my parents were always like, I'm trying to see that Snipes movie. I'm like, yes. You can cover my eyes.
You know the answer already. Okay.
Yeah, I'm in there. Large popcorn, Coca-Cola. I'm eating it halfway before the trailers hit, and I'm coming back. As soon as I see Wesley Snipes' name up there, I'm like, damn, you know what it is.
Sandwich the butter product in there. Yeah. There, I got you.
Right.
So it turns out this podcast was really just an intervention on your popcorn addiction. We need to have a talk.
Joke's on you. It's not going. I'm not quitting. I'm not quitting.
Well, Carter, this was super fun. Thanks for programming this block. It was one that we probably wouldn't have programmed ourselves, so that's always exciting to have somebody else on here to give us 3 movies to watch. Especially because they were all super fun. Every one of these was extremely fun. Even U.S. Marshals, not being my favorite, I still think Snipes was awesome in it. I thought he was great in all of these, especially Demolition Man. And I'm going to have to go ahead and say it. Demolition Man of these 3 was my favorit and still remains my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sandra Bullock.
And in terms of U.S. Marshals, I didn't. I don't think I finished my thought earlier, but yeah, I didn't end up hating it the way I did earlier at one point or whenever I first saw it. So it was definitely a lot more enjoyable this time. But yeah, I mean, it's like obviously not the same as The Fugitive. Yeah, out of these 3, for me, Passenger 57, I think would have to be my pick. That one was a lot of fun.
Carter, I would ask you what your favorite film of these would be, but you'd just say the Snipes one.
All of them. The Snipes one. It'd be like Passenger 57 and Demolition Man would be switching back and forth. Then U.S. Marshals.
Yeah, depending on like how you're feeling that day.
Yeah, but if you ever come out with a movie where it's like Passenger 57, like Wesley Snipes, and then like one of the female characters is Sandra Bullock, I'm there.
That would be a great reunited cast there to have Demolition Man 2.
Actually, Demolition Man 2 was Miss Congeniality with Benjamin Bratt and
that's right.
And Sandra Bullock.
That's the only reuniting we're gonna get is Benjamin Bratt and Sandra Bullock singing "Armor Hot Dogs" together.
I'm not mad at it. I'll be all right with that.
Carter, is there anywhere that we or the audience should follow you or anything like that?
Yeah, you can. If you're on Instagram, you can follow me at LCapCB. It's ELCAPTCB. And then on Twitter, it's El Capitan Carter.
We'll add that to the description and everything and make sure to tag you. But thank you so much again. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, this was great. I'd love to come back again. Listen, if you guys, Chuck Norris, Van Damme, any of the 90s,
well, actually, you had a really interesting block. That was the very first suggestion was a different look at anime.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to push that one off because we'd just done a bunch of anime stuff, but which is also why I was excited about this one, just because it was like just so different than what we were doing recently. But you'll definitely have to come back and we'll have to do that anime one.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much for listening. Please make sure to subscribe and follow us on all the podcasts and social platforms at the Grindhouse Institute. And if you really want to give us a boost, check us out on Apple Podcasts and leave us a rating and review. It helps us to get noticed. Thanks so much, everybody. We'll be back next week.
Ciao.
Gentlemen, Thank you very much, but your services will no longer be required.